Alright. This is the final episode. The final battle for Regnier and his forces. Now, I lost all the game audio. I lost all my audio. But it took, after 8 tries, I think, I found out the perfect strategy. And then when I actually got it to succeed, I lost all my audio. And considering this took me at least an hour this time, and originally it took me an hour and a half to do all of this together in the first place with Kendall's. If you want to hear all the sound effects, you'll get them in Kendall's. It's the same fight, except for one key difference that made this incredibly difficult. Now, as you can see, I have my riders and my archers as usual, and I have Regnier and a scorpion this time. I have the bone dragon and my wyverns. Now, the key here is to get a lot of points using my riders to run people down, so I can keep casting my fireballs with my meteors with my dark archers, my dark elf archers, while Regnier holds the front line. But what do you need a scorpion for in that one, for that purpose, on your team at least, right? Well, I'm trying to do a leapfrog approach so I can move faster. It actually, doing this method, saved me a half hour. Each run, unless I failed instantly, was at the very minimum like 20 minutes till I got towards the end of this. Sometimes 30 or 40 when I wasn't doing this. So after 8 tries and failing only at the end, it got a little rough. So when I completed this without it, I could probably complete it again without using this, without doing this. But that's another hour of my life again. So I edited it down so I can show you everything. But what I'm doing is I'm leapfrogging with my scorpions as my frontliners and Regnier as my frontliner. And I have one of them take on one force, and then I have everybody retreat through to the second line, while Regnier and the archers or whatever will be holding one back line. I'll have the cavalry running through both set pieces I'm going to have, so I can run through this faster and faster. So this is just a speed up tactic to get me pushed up further and further. Now, as we're going to keep going, we're going to have to deal with the fact that the cavalry keeps getting stuck on these walls, because they're trying to make these turns that are really hard in a congested area. And I'm constantly trying to keep control over my archers, because they're the very important part of this, because they're healing and their mass damage with their fireballs. The fire spell is just, it probably would be better if I had Ice Storm, especially against the enemies, the Ecoblosa. But since I don't, you gotta make do with what you got. And there's always a constant, they keep getting caught with the group fights, because the healing, I have to get really close to them. And there's so many units fighting in that front line, and sometimes it's just very difficult to not accidentally rub against each other and just force a fight. Right now I'm just stuck at a choke point. And as you'll see coming up, is that, well, when I got really, really frustrated with this level, probably like 4 or 5 times in, I started to discover that there's the massive difference in this campaign over Kendall's campaign on this last fight. Is the Bone Dragon's the one that attacks the Ecoplosa god. But you, in this campaign, have to do that damage. Where Kendall only had to take his ship and push it in, you have to do the damage. For them to push it in, then you go to the teleporter area to teleport into the god. Well, as you can see here, I'm using my wyverns to aggro the very, very, very powerful spitters that they got, and pulling them out from there. And then I'm sending the Bone Dragon alone in there to do damage. Now, it kind of starts to fail because I didn't pull enough of them and they keep respawning. So some of the new respawning ones start to attack the bone dragon. And once the bone dragon dies, this is over. You very rarely actually lose your troops unless you're just getting pissed off and are rushing too hard. But as you start to get towards the end, they start to teleport from behind you. You start getting spitters spawning behind you. So what ends up happening is you have the three super spitters in front of you that are protecting the Ecoblosa, so you can't tackle the bone dragon. But you also are getting attacked from both sides. Now you can probably just kill the front line and just take it slow, but it's very, very ridiculously hard to try and do it. Just look how tight this corridor is. And if I didn't pull them with my wyverns, I won't be able to just make this fight so easy. Like, it looks easy here, but like, it's very difficult to set this up. Because then, after this, you're going to defeat this Dark God with the Bone Dragon. Then you gotta wait for Kendall's Battaloon to smash into it. And then you gotta go back through this corridor where they're coming, the new group is spawning on top of you, to get there. And if you're taking your time with this, this level takes forever. And I cut it down specifically so I could just talk over it. Because it's kind of funny looking at this. Like, there's a Let's Play I was playing a while ago that I gave up on, where the Bone Dragon here is better animated than what was a 360 game. Viking Battle for Asgard, I believe it is, was way worse looking than this original OG Xbox game. That's like ridiculously bad. But now I gotta fight back, make sure they don't kill my Bone Dragon, make sure Regnier doesn't die. And because my cavalry is giving me problems in this little corridor, I'm not getting as much meter as I should have been. There's a lot of babysitting fights here. Especially if you're trying to do what I was doing in aggro. You have to constantly try and force your wyverns while controlling 2 lines of offense. And it might speed it up so you're not taking a full hour. Here's the Battaloon now, crashing into it. Then you gotta get to the point where the mages will teleport you into the Battaloon. Oh. This is stressing me out just talking about it. This was an entire day of stressing me out, this level. To the point when I was doing this, I was planning on talking over it anyways. So I was riding an exercise bike. And I was like, I'll just practice running this level over and over again. And because I already was pretty sure it's like, this strategy will work, but I gotta get it to work properly. And that might take time. So I was just like, I'll just ride my exercise bike while I do this. That's what I do for a lot of my reviews, actually. Is I capture a lot of the footage while I'm working out. So sometimes you'll see me playing like dog shit. Which you see in this anyways, right? You can clearly see I play like trash. It's one of the reasons why you see if you're watching my Chaos Legion Let's Play, why I'm just getting fucking shellacked constantly by every enemy in that game. And then get frustrated. Because I'm not that good anymore. But every once in a while, I get these moments where this was first try after an entire day of failing this, by the way. The first try while I was on my exercise bike. And I was riding my exercise bike the entire time for this. So for like, I actually had the timer in front of me of like an hour and 20 minutes. And that's including the end credits, which I cut out of this. Because you've already seen them. They're the same thing that happened in the Kendall campaign. Oh, we're almost there. We just gotta get these archers in there, huh? And we get instantly teleported. And now looking back at this footage, I want to ask a question. Well, you'll see it in a second, but my wyverns disappear. They're gone. I don't know why. I could have used them here. Now, this is exactly what happens in the Kendall campaign. It's not very difficult, so I edited together my strategy of getting through this. Now, since I had a Scorpion, Archer, Rider, and all this stuff as usual, I still gotta protect my Bone Dragon. So what I'm doing, since these spitters are very active compared to the other part, like the other part of this level, I'm trying to constantly put men on top of these archers, on top of the spitters, so they can't attack with their long range attack, so I can get my archers and my Bone Dragon to put in damage. But there's usually 4 to 5 spitters there, so someone's got to take the aggro, which seems to always be Regnier for some reason. If you can, as you can see right there. So it's like just constantly trying to make a fight that you want it to be, controlling it as much as you can. And as you go, you start to destroy each part of it. It's just like the Kendall part. I kept that up full. So if you do want to see the less refined strategy, unedited, it's still the same ideas, but it's over an hour and a half, you know. It's the same strategy. This one actually works a little bit better because these guys hit a lot harder and are a lot bigger units and they're way meaner. And you just sit there and cut these things down and just go wrap around and cut down the rest of them. That's all you gotta do, is cut down these brain stems, and it's easy. It's actually super easy. Scorpion does actually a lot of damage to this thing, and because of this, since my archers are my healers in this this campaign, it's actually a lot easier to continue my offensive as compared to my Kendall campaign. My Kendall campaign worked out, but it was a little more difficult because I put healing only on Kendall's unit, where in this one I do have healing on my archers who are rarely in a fight, so they can constantly throw out my healing tree. I was going to do that initially with the Kendall campaign, but I just was like, fuck it, I wanted to try something new. And it worked, but it made certain fights way harder to deal with. Like this fight in particular, for the most part, they blinded me so bad I couldn't even find a giant brain stem. It's literally larger than anything else on the map. I couldn't find it. I kind of felt it was funny to leave this in, honestly. But we're almost there. We gotta just wipe out this area one by one, keep healing up, make sure our archers don't take too much damage, all that easy stuff. Like, this is so much quicker to describe every strategy that happens in this map than it is to actually do, because this is 15 minutes, 12, 13 minutes now in, and you're like, that's all this map is? Yeah, that's really all this map is. But it's an endurance run, because you gotta do 2 kind of difficult maps one after another. It's very punishing for like some mistakes. And the hardest part is getting through the first half in the snow to get a Kablosa, its hole open. This one, the hardest thing is the spitters will keep spitting. There's really powerful range of units. Now we're about, that's it. We just finally beat them. Here's the cutscene. We have no sound effects because OBS is fucking beautiful. Constantly forgetting settings randomly without your knowledge, even though you're recording that day earlier. An hour later, it forgot that you're still using the same settings that you were always using. And here we got the only thing different. The Kablosa was destroyed and the Age of Light has returned. Come on, give it to me. With Regnier gone, all Dark Elves split into dozens of tribes and started a war amongst themselves. Oh god, I didn't read it fast enough. Although Hexer suffers similar chaos after the war, the strongest tribe united Hexer soon after. Which is probably our boy. Oh wait, no, our boy couldn't have, because he's in hell with us. Sad. And then for some reason, how Eklosa knew about the Ecclesia, the question is still not answered. The ancient art. Yeah, well, we answered it because we did that part. Well, hope you liked the video. We're going on a Lionheart. I'm sorry that it's like this, but hey, if you like the content, come on back, like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this video, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Look in the description below, and you can subscribe to my BitChute, or if you're on BitChute, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Game over.